In 1980, I purchased a home at 2540 North 38th Street. It was a beautiful Cream City brick home, which was structurally okay. There wasn't anything wrong with it. And of course, when you're buying a home, you need to have mortgage insurance in order to close the deal on the home purchase. So naturally, I had to have some kind of mortgage insurance to close the deal. So I had to get, initially I got the WIP plan, Wisconsin Housing Insurance Plan, because I was turned down by at least 2 insurance agents because they would not insure my home. So as a last choice, I had to get the WIP plan in order to purchase my home. So maybe 9 years after that, like 1989, it was time for my homeowner's policy to be renewed. So I just started calling different agents to see if I could get better coverage. So I called at least 2 American Family Insurance agents. The first agent said, I imagine you have a beautiful home, got hardwood floors and natural woodwork and everything in it. And it was a beautiful home. But he said, we can only insure it for the market value. And what I was looking for was replacement value insurance. Market value insurance coverage does not cover you in the event that there's a major loss.
In the late 80s, I was a real estate agent working in Milwaukee, and I was involved in the buying and selling with customers of their homes. And I noticed in the closing papers the amount of insurance on the homes, and especially homes that looked a lot like mine. And my home was just a little bit about it. It was built in 1927. It's an old 2-story with the hardwoods, a fireplace, brick. And I noticed that the persons that were buying the homes were getting insurance that was called replacement cost insurance. And I really hadn't heard that prior to doing this type of work in real estate. And it just perked in my mind, well, let me just check my home and see what I have, because my home is a lot like these. And I checked my policy and saw that I purchased a home in I think it was about 84, and it was in the mid-40s, about $46,000. And the insurance on the home was, I think it was like about $60,000. And in remembering what the other homes were being covered for, it was up hundreds, in the $100,000 range, and the homes were being sold for probably 80, 90, 100,000, but the insurance was much more than what the home was selling for. And I said, well, just inquiring, trying to find the difference. And they said, well, if anything happens to the home, I want to make sure I can get the woods back and just the character back in the home. So I thought, well, let me see if I can't do this too. And about this same time, my insurance was up for renewal. So I called. I was with State Farm, and I called them, and he said that for the home that I had, he could possibly increase it to maybe in about $80,000, but that's about it. And I said, well, that's not going to cover the cost of replacing it. And I said, so I'm going to check around. So, I may not be keeping, you as my agent. And he said, fine, that's what I think I can be able to do, but let me know. And I called American Family. I called one agent and gave him some background on the home, how old it was, where it was located. And I said, my insurance is up for renewal, and I want to get some quotes. And he said, well, what did you buy the home for? And I gave him all the background information. And he said, well, I probably won't be able to do any better than what you already have. And I said, okay, thank you. And then I called another American Family agent, and I gave him the same information. And he said, oh, I used to live out in that area. I know that area real well. It's over by Rufus King. And I said, yeah. And he said, well, I'll come out, I'll look at the home, I'll take some pictures, and I'll call you back, and I'll give you a quote. And I said, well, I'm looking for a replacement car. I made it very clear what I was looking for. And he said, well, those homes over there, it's pretty hard to get replacement cars insurance on them. And I said, well, why is that? What's the difference? And he said, well, they're old, and if you get too much coverage over than what you already have, you may be tempted to torch it. And it was just really, I thought, oh no. So, well, that's not my purpose. I said, I want to be able to, if anything happens, I can get it rebuilt the way it was. He said, well, I'll come out, I'll take some photos, and I'll let you know. I never heard from him. No photos. And so I called him about a week later, and I said, I'm calling to find out what happened, if you checked out my home and what you will be able to come up with. And he said, yeah, I did drive by. I looked at it. I walked around the side. This is in very good condition. He said, but I'm not going to be able to give you the coverage. I'm not going to be able to do it any more than what you already have. And I said, well, thank you.